Hey, all you cool cats and gamers! Welcome to No Category Left Behind, the GDQ hotfix show that showcases category extension speedruns. I'm your host, Nuclear, and tonight I've got Dangers with me for our special 1-year anniversary of No Category Left Behind. Yeah, it's been already 1 year of the show, which is absolutely incredible. Before we get started, though, I do have a few announcements here. AGDQ 2023 online will be January 8th to the 15th. Head to GamesDoneQuick.com for more information. Game submissions are closed. Tweet at GamesDoneQuick to let us know what you're hoping to see on the schedule. Also, Fright Fatales is a one-day event on October 23rd to celebrate spooky season with dark, scary, or horror-themed speedruns from the Frame Fatales community. Use command FRIGHT in Twitch chat to see the schedule. And with that, I'll go ahead and pass it over to Dangers to let y'all know what we're doing today.
Hello, Nukes. How's it going?
Wonderful. I'm so happy to have you here.
It's just like it was a year ago.
Yeah.
What an exciting time. Yeah. Hello, my name is Dangers. I speedrun Mario games. Today we're here to showcase Super Mario Odyssey. What a surprise. Dangers speedrunning Super Mario Odyssey on the GDQ channel? Who would have thought?
No way. I mean, you were
What a crazy time.
Last week. Did you do Kirby last week?
No, for the cute show, you'd think I would do Kirby. You think so?
I would have thought so.
But no, we did Odyssey then too. We did World Peace.
Oh.
Saving the world is pretty cute, as it turns out.
Yeah, it is. It is cute to save the world. I agree with that.
But today is No Category Left Behind, and that usually showcases category extensions. And of course, me being the bird guy, it's only fitting that we do Talk at 2% for the showcase of a category that doesn't deserve to be left behind. So I suppose we can talk about Talkatu as we get into the run a little bit, because it'll be pretty obvious once we get started, but we can discuss it a little bit. So I'm ready when you are, Nuke. Should I do a countdown?
Yeah, go ahead and give us a countdown.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, Talk at 2% is a category extension, meaning that it's not on the main boards. It's kind of off to the side. Something that the community made basically because randomizers are really fun, and a lot of other games have randomizers of some kind, like whether that be, Zelda games or Mario games of the past. It kind of just like shuffles things around and, makes the game something that you can replay and it be a new experience, right? I think that's why people make challenges in the first place. Talkatu was Odyssey's answer to being such a new game that there wasn't really any way to modify it to make a randomizer at the time. There is some work on it now, now that some modding has kind of come about, but Talkatu is like the in-game randomizer, you could call it. So we will probably get into why that is when we finally get to go meet Talkatu himself. But yeah, this is one of my favorite category extensions because it is, you don't really know what you're getting yourself into, ever.
Now, how does that work for like routing and stuff for a category like this?
That's a great question. So you basically have to rely on your sheer knowledge alone when it comes to a category like this. So the way the Talkatu works, he's a little bird that lives in all the kingdoms somewhere. He just kind of sits there and vibes. And when you talk to him, he gives you the name of a moon. And he does that 3 times before he stops. If you want to get more moon names from him, you have to go back and talk to him after you've collected the moon. And then he'll give you another one. You can have 3 full slots at a time, basically. So the routing is basically just like trying to combine those 3 in the shortest path possible and then coming back to talk to him to get 3 more and repeat the cycle, basically.
I know you just said that you can have a max of 3 at a time.
Yes.
Will you always clear out those 3, or sometimes will you try to go back maybe after 2 or 1?
Yeah, I guess it kind of depends, right? There are some situations where they are on complete opposite sides of the map, so it wouldn't really make sense to do all 3 and then come back, because you would be traversing the entire kingdom, which is not always a good idea. Sometimes you'll get one that's in a sub-area, and sub-areas are always 2 moons per sub-area. So you might maybe want to hold on to that one so that maybe you get the other sub-moon or area moon. You know what I mean? So that you can go in and get them both at the same time rather than having to make 2 separate trips to a kind of closed off area. That's a bit of a risky play, but it's kind of situational. It really depends. Also, I guess it should be mentioned that Talkatoo will never give us story moons. So anything that's on a pedestal like this or any of the multi-moons, Talkatoo will never give those to us because they're kind of like considered mandatory. For the sake of the story of the game. So we can use those kind of like the free space on a bingo card, where we can collect them if we want to, and there's no like penalty because Talkatoo again will never give them to us. So hey, there we go.
The infamous is that Dino Skip?
That's right. Yeah, Dino Skip.
Boldly named.
Named because there used to be a way to get to the top of the kingdom that involved capturing the dino, and that was called Dino Skip. And doing the goat climb on the wall like that skips Dino Skip. So it's called Dino Skip. We're really good at naming things in Super Mario Odyssey community.
That's any speedrunning community though, right? Like,
oh yeah.
How naming goes. It's like, yeah, we called this Dino Skip because it's a dinosaur. Or you name it after the person who found it, which that could be a treat.
Yes, depending on if they like it or not. Yeah, I feel like names for tricks in the speedrunning community have 2 flavors, and like they're on opposite extremes. There's either like very straightforward, to the point. Like if you think of Super Mario World, for example, there's something called orb glitch, which is like you get an orb in your inventory and you are glitching the game to get it. Pretty straightforward. Makes sense. Perfect name. It gets right to the point. You don't have to ask any questions. But then there's something like Fast Tippy Neo Poke Dram in Super Mario Odyssey. And you're like, what is that? Well, we were kind of making fun of the fact that communities name things really stupid things. And so it's just when you jump as a bird and you poke poke the beak into the hole with good timing. It's like, it's just speedrunning communities are either one extreme or the other. So here we go. Here's Talkatoo, and he's giving me 3 moon names. I know where these moons are. I was basically just we only need 1 to leave, right? We need 5 moons to leave Cascade, and we already have 4. So I was just fishing to see if I could get one that was the best. And he gave me Chomp Through the Rocks. So I can grab this one right here, and then we can leave. And the other ones he gave us were On Top of the Rubble, which is that one that's kind of just like sitting over there on that rock. And then another one that he gave me was in a sub area. So obviously I'm going to ignore that one. But now there is a category extension, like, you know how sometimes on speedrun.com they're like split into subcategories or whatever, and they have their own leaderboards if you like click on the little tabs.
Of course.
Of course, yeah. So for
I click on those all the time for this show. Yes.
I'm just all over those tabs. For Talkatoo, there are 3 of those. There is Any Percent, which is the one that we're doing. There is World Peace, which means that you actually have to get all of the story content finished while also being at the whim of Talkatoo for the rest of your moons. And then there's a 3rd one called Hardcore. Now, Hardcore is like the true Talkatoo percent category, where you know how I said the story moons can be used as like free spaces on the bingo card? The Hardcore category says no, those don't count. So in the case of Cascade, even though we got 4 moons for free from the story content, Hardcore would require you to get 5 moons in total from Talkatoo before you leave, for a total of 9 moons before leaving Cascade. And that would be true of every kingdom along the way.
Have you run all the categories of Talkatoo then at some point?
I haven't done Hardcore before. I think that's
content.
That is content. I should definitely get in on that. Yeah, I gotta set a time.
Like, I know you've done a lot of speedrunning all moons. Have you ever done Talkatoo all moons?
Yes, I did do that once. And what a treat that is. I think I did it as like a sub goal or something once. And it is terrible. Like, it's actually in some cases almost impossible to complete, because there are certain like mini games. Oh, it's all the way over here. There are certain mini games like Koopa free running where like Talkatoo can give you the harder version of the free running first, which means that you would kind of be like locked behind one. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of different situations like that. Or like in Mushroom Kingdom, for example, there are 3 different moons for feeding Yoshi fruit. But Talkatoo can give them to you in like the wrong order. So he could give you like 3 and then 2, and then he can give you for example, the Koopa free running, the second Koopa free running, which means that you're actually just like soft locked from being able to complete the Talkatoo challenge.
Oh gosh.
So it's it's a bit frustrating, but then you kind of like impose your own restrictions on that to make up for it. So you'll be like, oh well, if you get a moon out of order or something, then maybe you have to go to the Odyssey and like change your outfit or something. You know, like you kind of impose a penalty on yourself or something to make up for it. All right, the moons that I got to start were actually really bad. One of them is dancing with new friends, which means I need to put on this outfit and then go and dance with some friends. Another one was one of the seed moons from like out in Argentina somewhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my Switch menu. This is cheating in the children's video game. I hope this is okay. Little known fact that the seeds in this game, they take 20 real minutes to grow, but they run off the Switch clock. So if you just like set your Switch clock an hour ahead after you planted the seeds, and then you go back, and come around the corner here, you can see they're all grown. So just like a little known speedrun trick. Invisible maze, okay. We're gonna go in here. And then I think I also have Sand Quiz. Didn't get the best moons at the beginning here. They didn't work out very well together, but we'll make it work. Kind of a bop though. And I'm not ever going to complain about the fact that we get to wear a different outfit in the speedrun, because it's not very common or very fast in regular speedruns to like go out of your way to change. So the fact that we get to do the rest of this run in the sombrero is kind of neat. Okay, so now my next objective is to kind of open up the kingdom. I'm just going to be collecting some checkpoints along the way. Oh, and maybe hit my head. And come all the way out here. Nukes, have you ever done a Talkatoo percent speedrun?
I feel like it's hard to do it when you don't know all the moon names.
For sure.
That's part of it, is learning all those names, right?
That's kind of how I feel about doing, like, you are familiar with Ocarina of Time randomizers, for example, right? Mm-hmm. I think, like, the reason that I'm intimidated by trying something like that is for the exact same reason. Because, like, I don't know where all the checks are. I don't know what is required to get through the dungeons. So if I were to do one, I'd be like, okay, well, where can I go and what can I do first?
So for that,
like, if I get the hook shot, what does that mean for me? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if there's a tool like this for Mario Odyssey. There might be something. At the very least, there's probably a list. But like for a lot of randomizers, I know OOT has this. We have map trackers where you click the items you get and it shows you on a map. It will light up all the locations you can go. Which I always tell people when they're learning a randomizer, please make sure to do that until you're comfy with the game, because otherwise you're going to run into some problems likely.
For sure.
And it makes the learning easier. But I imagine for this it'd be open up a list of all the moons and Control F the names.
Yes. If you ever, like, I would say that if you have a pretty good understanding of this game and you've, like, maybe collected all the moons once or twice yourself, then you might be in a position where, like, you can do that on your own to a degree, but you might need to search up, like, one or two. And so, yeah, just having something like that open so that you can search is, like, a really good idea. I just got a really good combo, though. We got this one. And then we also got this one right here. This is always nice when, you know, basically how well you do in a Talkatoo speedrun has everything to do with, like, the combinations he gives. Not necessarily, like, how far away they are from Talkatoo, but how far away they are from each other. So that was like a really good combination, those two together. Okay. On the leaning pillar.
Now I'm like sitting here thinking about it. I should try this one day. I do like this game. It's very comfy. It'd be a good comfy stream.
I agree, yeah. And no harm in trying it, right?
Yeah.
Even if it does take you like 3 hours or something like that. I think the first Talk to run that I did.
That's so generous of you to say it'll only take me 3 hours.
Hey, I mean, that's about how long it took me to do mine, but I also do speedrun this game a lot, so maybe I am being a little bit generous. It still is like definitely a good way to spend a stream if that's what you were thinking about, so.
I would. It's been on my list to learn at least the any % of the speedrun, just because it's a game that feels good to move through.
Absolutely. In my opinion, and I know that there's some people who might disagree, but in my opinion, it's probably like the best 3D Mario that they've ever made, especially in terms of speedrunning. So just the variety, the versatility of like where you can go and what you can do and all the different things that you can collect means that there's just an infinite amount of ways to play the game, you know what I mean? I feel like Super Mario 64 benefits from having something like a proper randomizer because like every star is always going to be the same, you know what I mean? So I can already see the chat's like, wait, did he have lone pillar or leaning pillar? The answer is actually I had both. And you can see I like look through my list and there's no more Talkatoo Moons left. So I actually had both left. So I got the both. Back to town. And I did say that story moons were a thing that I could use. Like there's one at the top of that tower up there. But I usually kind of incorporate those in if it's like worth it to do. Lost in the luggage? Okay. Like I won't go out of my way to get the story moons just because they are free. If I happen to get a moon along the way that's like really close to there, then I'll be like, okay, yeah, we can grab that. Okay, so the first part of Sand Kingdom was really slow, but now we're getting some good ones together. It's funny, the little time trick that I showed you with the seeds, it used to be like that was the worst thing that could happen in Talkatoo. There was a time before we discovered that like the switch clock had value.
Oh, gosh.
And we had no idea. Oh, that's 2 inverted pyramid ones. Okay. Yeah, so like if we got a seed before we knew that we could change the clock to make them grow faster, we were like, oh, well, crap. We just have one spot that we can't get now. So even though it seems, I feel like that's just like a really common thing in speedrunning.
Yeah,
would you agree? Where like there's something
that this is just, it's something I already know about, and like I've always known about it for a while, like for as long as I can remember.
Right? And it seems so obvious.
Can't believe there was a before time where you would actually have to wait.
Before we knew any better. Exactly.
Well, you said, yeah, I guess that used to be like that in the darker side routing, wasn't it? Or am I wrong? Didn't one of the other categories route a seed that you would go back later?
Yeah, that still happens too. I think that like...
Without changing the clock.
Yeah, because in the case of Darker Side, like you visit a kingdom the first time and then you plant a seed and then you come back like legitimately longer than 20 minutes later, for example, right? So that does happen sometimes. But yeah, in the case of like any percent was when it started getting used, is because like this seed is right here. Like and there's like a whole bunch of different sub areas that we can go into to like, change the phase of the kingdom or whatever. Like it was only a matter of time. All we needed to do was find a way to grow the seed like immediately, and then it was going to go in the any percent route, and then we did. So in that case, we don't have 20 minutes to sit around and wait for any percent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The other thing I like about Talkatoo is that like this game is very polished. You'd agree that it's a pretty polished game, right? I think that if you're a casual player, you'll never really accidentally encounter any of the things that are broken about this game, but that doesn't mean it's not broken. It's still a video game. And the cool thing about Talkatoo is that, like, if you have the knowledge of all those things, I guess you could say this about like a randomizer too. If you've got that knowledge, you can use that knowledge whenever it becomes handy. Like, I wanted to get into the inverted pyramid because there were some in here, so all I had to do was clip into it. I didn't have to do all the story stuff. I could just clip into the front door.
That easy.
Just like that. Yeah.
See, that's where I would lose time in that estimate. I don't know how to do that clip. That ain't happening.
Yeah, it's not easy. That one's probably, I would say that roll cancel clips are one of the hardest tricks to get used to in the speedrun. I hope I get to do some more cool stuff like that in the showcase. I hope it gives me some more like out of bounds moons or something like that.
Now, I guess kind of on a similar branch of that, I know Snow Kingdom is very infamous. Is that the roll cancels that are used in Snow Kingdom?
There are like a million different ways to get out of bounds in Snow Kingdom.
Okay.
The one that they use in the speedrun nowadays is a moon clip, just because it happens to be the fastest way. But for a while, we thought the roll cancel clip was the only way to get out of bounds. So yeah, but in terms of like story progression, only Sand Kingdom and Snow Kingdom allow you to skip story moons and head straight to the multi-moon that you need, which is handy for speedruns, of course. You might not see it in Talkatoo just because the bound bowl's really slow. Even for 3 moons, it's still pretty slow. So we probably won't be going down there. But
I do have a question in chat asking, what patch is this run on?
what patch is this run on? So all speedruns, except for 2 categories, take place on 1.3. It used to be that 1.0, which was like the original version of the game, was the fastest because it allowed you to do some tricks that are unavailable later on. However, 1.3 did this miraculous thing. All it really did is overclocked all the loads. It just made the game load faster than it ever did before. And it loaded so fast that it overwrote like the 30 seconds worth of time save that we got from doing those tricks before. So any speedrun of this game that you see that is not minimum captures or star percent is going to be on 1.3. And that is true for any speedrun you see of this game. 1.3 is king, which is great because it's the most recent version of the game. So no matter who you are, no matter where you're playing from, all you have to do is turn on the game and you'll be playing on the fastest version, which is really nice. Oh, I'm going to show off a little trick here. So I just got a secret little room. I'm just going to stand here, look this way, go into first person, and I can talk to this mermaid through the wall. Just because.
I could do that.
It's actually quite easy, yeah. You just have to know how to center your camera behind yourself, which is actually quite easy. Just press R or L, and then go into first person, which is just pressing the stick. Now I have to remember which ones I just got. Dory Back Rider, End of Hidden Passage, Taking Notes. Okay. So that's this one.
Oh, I guess we should establish if by chance you do grab the wrong moon today, what is the punishment?
So the punishment, like, I remember we were talking about all moons and how, like, the punishment would be to, like, change outfits or something like that. Mm-hmm. The reason that would be the punishment is because, like, if your goal is to get all of the moons, you can't do what the usual punishment is. The usual punishment in Talkatoo is quite simple. If you get the wrong moon, then we just have to grab another one. We just have to grab an extra one to compensate for it. One. So I need to collect 8 moons.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. I need to collect 8 moons in this kingdom. If I thought I needed End of Hidden Passage, but I ended up getting a different moon, for example, then I would just have to collect 1 extra. We'd get 9 instead.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, super easy, super straightforward. Jump, grab, cling, and climb some more, but I haven't jumped, grabbed, or clinged, or climbed yet. Okay. So what's in the box? That's just this one over here. And now I usually get the comment that, like, holy heck, Danger's like, how do you know where all of these moons are? Like, how do you just read the name of the moon and immediately know where you need to go? How do you do the speedrun and know that like you need to collect purple coins, or I get questions like that all the time, and I think the answer is just consistency of playing this game a lot. Probably more than anybody has any right to be playing this game for, to be honest. I don't have like a genuine tracker, but it's probably in the ballpark of like 4,000 hours that I played this game. So when you played a game like that in as many different ways as I have, you get a pretty good idea of where everything is after a while. I've probably done like over 50 all moons runs and maybe like a dozen 100% runs, and yeah, it all kind of just culminates in your mind after a while. I kind of equate it to like people never ask like, oh my god, how do you remember to do all of your work tasks in your 8-hour workday? You know what I mean? It's like repetition. You just keep doing it over and over again until you don't have to think about it,
Now I'm like, I'd be curious to see your hours on your Switch for this game.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. I wish I could show, but I was silly, and the file that I speedrun on is not the same as the file that is connected to my Nintendo online account, so it doesn't sync up that information, which is a shame. I'm almost curious to just like make a file anyway, just for the speedrunning file, just to see what it says. But I can only guess by like how long I've been streaming, basically.
Yeah, I've always felt that with like OOT too, because there's no way to track that. I don't have, I can only guess. Well, I stream it almost every day of my life, and
yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of community-driven stuff in the realm of like randomizing this game. There are mods that are starting to come out to accomplish that purpose, where there weren't like 3 years ago, hence having something like Talk at 2%. But there's also bingo. I know that bingo is like a really common thing for speed gaming communities to adapt as a way to, bring some variety to the game, and Odyssey's no exception. Have you ever, is Ocarina of Time bingo's a thing, right? How is it? Like,
I have thought about, I've actually never have done a bingo. I should.
Yeah, because
we're just talking content here. Let's like, I need to have you on more so we can just we can brainstorm content together.
Exactly, I'm down.
Also, chat. Yeah, if you're speaking of content, if you're enjoying this, I did link Danger's stream in the chat. Please go click that link and give him a follow. Definitely deserves it. Does a lot of Mario Odyssey. Was talking to me about other speed runs he's learning too, and yeah, if you'd like to hear his buttery smooth voice, as we're saying in chat, he does a lot of great streams, so definitely check it out.
People are too kind. Thank you. Okay, Cappy, hello. Yeah, I've been practicing some Super Mario World lately. Super Mario World, despite what people might be thinking, Super Mario World is my favorite Mario game. Over this one, I would say. Just a lot of like childhood connection to it, I guess you could say. Which way do I want to go? I'm going to go this way first.
Yeah, for those of you just joining, this is Talk at 2%. Basically, there is a bird in this game. We'll give you the name of 3 moons, and those are the moons that Dangers has to collect. He can only collect the moons that the Talk at 2 tells him to.
That's right. Ah! That's broke Mario's kneecaps just now. There we are. So Wooded Kingdom is a little bit of a tough one to navigate. It's very vertical. There's like a lot of different, very disconnected sections to it, which makes Talkatoo quite difficult. Flooded Pipeway Ceiling Secret, okay. Treasure made from coins, that's probably my least favorite moon in the entire video game. Okay, yeah, that was not a good combination, Talkatoo. You can definitely do better than that, but... just what I mean. So the 3 moons that I got is, one of them is Flooded Paypay Sealing Secret, which is this one right here, which is actually really nice. Very quick. But then the other ones I got were Treasure Made from Coins, which anybody who watches my stream knows that that is just infamous. It's just one of the ones that I always get.
I think I know what that one is. No.
Yep.
I was like trying to think what that is.
Not only do I have to go into the deep woods, but I have to collect 500 coins and like pay a plant to grow with my 500 coins. So I won't be doing that one anytime soon. But I did get Cracked Nut on a Tumbling Tower. And Flower Road Run is also a bad one. That was the one that I got just before this. That's in the sub area with the flower roads. So I'm not looking forward to that one, but it's fine. We do what we gotta do. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just go ahead and take care of Spirit right away. After we get Cracked Nut on the Tumbling Tower, which is over here. We're just going to go ahead and beat Spirit right away. And that kind of opens up some more of the kingdom so that it's easier to explore. And I just love that little sequence of movement right there. It's just like right in line with what I'm talking about, where like if you have a good grasp of the movement in this game, you can kind of just do whatever you want. Oh, that's not good. Where are you going, man? There we go.
Moving.
Oh, he's gonna defeat me? Never mind. Everything's good. So, Nukes, what's your favorite kingdom? I feel like I asked this to all of the GDQ hosts for the shows that I joined.
I can't get over the theming of luncheon.
Yep.
I think that's all. I feel like that's a typical answer, but luncheon's just so good. But the music here, the wooded music though. I don't know if I enjoy wooded as a kingdom, but I love to just, come here and bop.
Right? Nothing more satisfying than like whenever I'm doing the speedrun of this game, like this part of the kingdom is really quiet and it's like it's got the woods feel where nothing is going on and it's really quiet and serene, but then as soon as you get into this part and the surf rock music starts coming in, it's like, oh my goodness. Boy, do I love this kingdom.
It legitimately gives me chills going from one to the other.
Yeah,
the first time in a playthrough.
Okay, we have all sorts of like really not well matched moons. So I'm gonna go for a quick checkpoint collection spree, I think. Good job, Cappy. I'm very proud of you. So now that we beat Spirit, there are these tanks here, which we can use to make that a little bit easier to traverse. Now we did get Flower Road Run, which is one of my least favorite moons to get in a Talkatoo run, but we're going to do it anyway. It's mostly just because it's an auto-scroller. So we have time for some donations.
I almost panicked for a second. I was like, wait, I don't know if I have any donations.
Wait a second, this isn't a main event.
By those words at this point that I panicked for a moment.
Got her, chat. Let's go.
Oh my gosh.
All right, yeah, there we go. So it's not nearly as bad as I think usually, but it's a pretty slow moon. Oh, hey, the host of the show is currently raiding the stream. What are the odds of that?
Thanks for the raid, Nuclear. That's weird.
What a strange coincidence. All right. One of the ones that I got was Spinning Platforms Treasure, so we're going to come down here. I love how, like, there's probably about a half a dozen moons in this kingdom where you just, like, go up to the top and you jump off the side, and then that's how you win. I'm a big fan of that, personally. Okay, just a few more. Elevator escalation is okay. Glowing in the deep woods, so now that we have some deep woods moons, I'm just going to go ahead and take care of this. So the deep woods, it's not a fun place to be. Anybody who's been down here probably understands that sentiment pretty well. It's very dark and scary. You'll notice that the compass has been taken away. You'll notice that there is no real map of this place. You'll also notice that you can't warp out of here. So if you fall in here by accident, it's kind of disorienting. The only way out is to grow a beanstalk and climb the beanstalk out, which makes it a not so fun place to be. There are like 6 or 7 moons down here that are actually pretty fast, but only if you know where they are. Luckily I do, but it's not necessarily the funnest place to be, especially in a Talkatoo run. If you have to come down for like 1 moon at a time, for example, that's never a good sign that you're getting good RNG. But the reason that this moon in particular sucks, the one that I'm doing, is because I needed 500 coins to feed that plant. And for some reason, Talkatoo loves it. Talkatoo loves that moon so much. So I've just gotten conditioned into like going out of my way to collect 500 coins, knowing that I'll probably have to do that by the time I get to Wooded Kingdom.
That's so
then,
horrible.
Course, it is. It is the worst. Talkatoo, I don't know why you do this to me. I thought we were friends, but I guess not. Where's the dino? I'm just going to throw that at him. I don't want him bothering me anymore. And then I'm going to plant the nut in this one all the way over here, because the beanstalks correspond with like places in the overworld. So if I grow that one particular, it's the... Oh, okay. I kind of meant to roll right by you, but I guess not. That's the perfect spot for the one that grows the closest by Talkatoo, so... I guess I could grow that one over there if I wanted, but... Sir, can I help you? Oh, I didn't know he could break the trees.
Oh,
Today
wow.
I learned something. Today I learned something. I actually had no idea.
Isn't that great when a video game you put thousands of hours into, you still learn new things?
Yeah, on the GDQ stage, no less. That's great. I knew he could crash into the big trees and like knock himself out, but I didn't know the small ones. That's kind of funny. Okay, so we need 3 more moons. Flooding pipeway. Okay, that's not bad. Atop the tall tree. We can make this happen. Oh, that was not a well-placed ground pound, apparently. Nice, okay. Now we just need 2 more over here. And then we're out of here. And there's always like different strategies to approaching how to do Talkatoo. Like some people like the consistency of having the story moons, so they will kind of prioritize them just in general. Like Torque Drift, for example, is a very slow boss fight. It probably takes like 2 minutes if you include the fact that you have to like collect the multi-moon and have like the animation and like do the thing where like you go back to the Odyssey and Mario's like celebrating and stuff. Like from entering the boss fight to all of that is like 2 minutes for 3 moons, which is arguably pretty slow. But is it slower to do that, or is it slower to talk to Talkatoo and get given 3 really like far apart moons? You know, it kind of is to your own discretion, however you want to play. And I think that's kind of another thing about allowing the story moons to be a thing that I really enjoy, is that it helps add a little bit of strategy to it. There we go. All right, Wooded Kingdom's all done. We've survived.
I just realized you asked me what my favorite kingdom is. What's your favorite kingdom?
Yeah, my favorite kingdom is Luncheon.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah. I think my favorite thing about it is that the aesthetic itself is good, but when you when you dig into the surface, like if you go under the surface of what Luncheon Kingdom is, it's a lava level. Like it's just...
Yep.
You know, usually a Mario game or any sort of platforming game will kind of finish the game off with like a lava level to show that like this is the big scary level at the end of the game. And they still did it in this game. They just disguised it as something completely different, and I love that.
I always, it's something that's like, yeah, I know that's a lava level, but I always forget because they do such a good job like reskinning it basically.
Yeah. It's probably one of the most creative worlds that I've seen in a Mario game in a long time. Because when you think of like new Super Mario Brothers, for example, the themes of the worlds are pretty predictable. Like the first one is a grassland, and the second one is a desert, and the third one is maybe an ice level. You know what I mean? Like they're pretty predictable. So I think that Odyssey did a pretty good job with like the theming of their kingdoms for the most part. I think that they probably could have done a little bit better with some of them. Like when I think of what I want my favorite kingdom to be, I think about Ruined Kingdom and like some of the lost potential there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I think that the fact that it's just a boss arena for a giant dragon that kind of feels out of place is not doing a service to like the theming of that place in general. Like it could be a giant spooky area and there could be booze everywhere that maybe you capture, and you can use the invisible function to go through walls like you do in Galaxy. Who knows? You know what I mean? They could have stretched those smaller worlds out a little bit, but I do like what they did with Luncheon.
Yeah, that dragon area feels like there's just like, it's a lot of detail and it's out of place, but it could have been a lot more.
Right? So maybe Odyssey 2?
Can hope. Only hope.
That's right. Hello, Talkatoo. Captain Todd. I like Lost Kingdom in this category a lot. Ooh, okay. Ow. Actually, I'm going to go this way. I like Lost Kingdom in this category a lot because it's a really small kingdom. I don't like the bonking on everything, though. That's not my favorite. It's a really small kingdom, and there is a good chunk of moons. I think there's like 20-some moons or something, and you only need 10. So the concentration of moons versus the area of the place is like really, really nice. Just about every moon combination that you can get is going to be a good one. So the first thing I did there, sometimes I just like talk about my strategy and like what I'm doing in case there are aspiring Talkatoo speedrunners out there. The first thing I did when I did Lost Kingdom was like went right to the top and got that checkpoint at the top, because now anytime I die or anytime I want to warp, I can just go right up to that top checkpoint and have kind of an easier vantage point throughout the rest of the kingdom. Makes things easy to get around rather than having to go back to the Odyssey every time. Okay, cave gardening. Wrecked rock block. And shopping! The only thing that I have to be careful about in this kingdom, though, is Klepto, which is the other bird in Super Mario Odyssey, the evil bird. Ow. Anytime I warp or anything like that, he'll reset. So anytime I warp, I just have to make sure that I kind of reactivate Klepto. It's too many birds to keep track of. So that Klepto doesn't snag Cappy while I'm running around. Okay.
And just real quick for anyone joining us, this is Talkatoo%. Essentially, we're just talking about the bird gives us 3 different moons, and those are the moons that Dangerous has to collect. He can only collect the ones the bird has told him to collect, and the goal is to beat the game.
That's right. Like a built-in randomizer, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I know we got that big 500 coin moon.
Yes.
Is money something we're still like concerned about really at this point? Or because I know obviously like there's other things you can buy with money in this game, but
True. There are some shot moons. The shot moons cost 100 apiece. So they're not like the biggest commitment of coins, but you are seeing me like kind of go out of my way in some cases to collect them anyway. Just because, you know, if you do get shot moons, you don't want to be kind of stuck behind a shot moon. You want to be able to just buy it and open up that Talkatoo slot again. So that's what I've been doing. But aside from that, there aren't really many uses for coins. That one that Talkatoo really seems to love. Oh, that's not good for me. The one that Talkatoo really seems to love is probably the main one that you get coins for. Okay, I think there's a way up here. Maybe not. Actually, I think I can triple jump. Yeah, like that. Okay, just barely. So we got Butterfly's Treasure, and we got Over the Fuzzies Above the Swamp, which is just down here. And now we can leave. That was a pretty good Lost Kingdom, I would say. Nothing too crazy. I think Lost, so we were talking about favorite kingdoms. I think Luncheon is like my favorite thematically for all the reasons that we talked about, but Lost has a soft spot in my heart for like speed running. I feel like every category that goes into Lost is just like so satisfying to do really fast. Because it is so compact and it feels like you're, you know, if you do it everything correctly, it just blazes right by. Super fun. Can't say the same thing about Metro Kingdom though. The exact opposite, actually. So this one's a bit of a weird one because like you start out the kingdom in this like dark, gloomy state. Talkatoo's not even here. So if we want to progress with Talkatoo, we have to beat Mecha Wiggler, which means that we don't get to collect any moons until that is accomplished. So we just have to dash straight up to the top of City Hall as fast as we can. So that's what we're gonna do. And it's always so funny because like on the way up, you probably encounter like 2 or 3 moons that are like right in your path. And in Talkatoo percent, you just like can't grab them. You're not allowed. Like that one, you just leave it behind. See you later. So, because I'm just genuinely curious, and you are the Ocarina of Time randomizer wizard, how much RNG is in that game? I actually have no idea. I don't know if I've watched enough of it to really understand.
I mean, it depends on, you know, I like to play with a lot of things turned on. So, like, the more checks you have turned on, obviously, the more RNG
random,
you're dealing with. So,
but what
I think there's just like a lot of factors that go into that. But in terms of like, just like the base game, there's some stuff with some of like the enemies and the bosses, I'd say, but Yeah.
That's fair. I've heard for some reason like Dampe comes to mind. Is that a
yeah?
Is that
See, that's
a
something
part of
I don't
RNG?
deal with because in the randomizer, it's programmed that he gives you that item immediately. But that would definitely be the big one in terms of like speed running the vanilla game. I just completely forgot about that.
Because Dampe is in it's the graveyard, right? And you like have to chase him through the corridors or whatever. So in the base game, the RNG is that you're like hoping that he gives you the right item.
So Dampe, okay. So Dampe is a couple different. So there's Dampe's digging, which that's a big RNG thing in 100% because you got to get a heart piece from him. And it's a digging game, and if you get it wrong, you got to just keep going in and out of the graveyard.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, and then there is the race where there is, I guess those the flames he drops are randoed, and sometimes he can snipe you with that, for sure.
I see. It's all coming together why it's so annoying now.
Yeah.
How do they take out the trash? Another question that we've been asking for millennia.
See, I'm sitting here trying to follow along and see if I can figure out what some of these moons are, and I have no idea what that one, the trash one, would be.
Yeah, and like, I guess if you have collected all the moons, you might be like, okay, well, there's actually, I'm getting some interesting lighting going on here. I hope that's okay. Sun streaming in my window just the right way. But if you were to play this game, you'd be like, oh, well, there's a couple of moons associated with trash in Metro Kingdom, aren't there? Like, where would we have to go? So I definitely feel for you on that one. And it still, like, even me, I would say that, like, there are some moons in this game where I'm, like, genuinely confused. Like, for example, the seeds in Metro Kingdom are a great example, actually. There are 3 seeds that you can plant in Metro Kingdom, and they are named after the pot's locations. There's a plaza seed, a building seed, and a rooftop seed. But both building and rooftop are on top of rooftops of buildings. So it's hard to remember, for example, like which one is which. Or like in this sub area, there is hanging from a high rise and vaulting from a high rise. It's like which one is which? Kind of hard to tell if you haven't, taken the trial and error to like figure it out yourself. You know what I mean? So that can sometimes trip you up in Talkatoo, as if you're like going for the wrong moons or whatever. But it's all a trial and error, I guess. Figuring it out for yourself and trying to learn. Hopefully I don't get those seeds because I still don't really know which one's which. But we'll see. Sewer treasure, okay. Sharpshooting. Oh, Talkatoo, I love you. I've never seen you do this to me before. So Talkatoo actually gave me both of the moons in the sub area, which very rarely happens. But that's nice, because that just means I can speedrun this sub-area as if I was doing it in, like, say, all moons or something. And this sub-area is kind of cool because, like, as long as I know where to aim, I can just kind of use this one tank to get the job done. The other one is just up here. Nice. Just like that. You love to see it. Not very often the Talkatoo will give you 2 moons in the same sub area right back to back like that. But that's a treat. I'll take it. City Guarding Plaza Planter. That's okay, because I know which one that is. Oh, and Bench Friends. Let's go. So we are going to be cheating in the children's video game again. I hope that's okay. Hope I'm not on like a certain amount of strikes for cheating in the kids game. Because we'd be up to a lot by now.
No one will know.
It's
Right?
definitely
Right,
6
chat?
a.m.
No one will know.
Yeah, right? It's definitely 6 a.m. on March 23rd. For sure. Oh, what is going on? Okay, here we go. And now I purposefully didn't warp so that you can see what's happening. Like, the game is like, oh man, an hour just went by and the seed is still in like a state from earlier. We need to fix that right away. So the plant, if you don't like reload the area, the plant will actually like manually grow right in front of your eyes like that, which I think is pretty cool. Okay.
Richard in chat saying, I can tell it's 6 a.m. because the sun is coming up for dangers right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the morning sunshine.
Outside the rotating maze, and then we got City Hall Lost and Found, which is actually just over here. This is actually the one that we passed by on the way up of City Hall. Had we collected it, we would have had to collect 1 extra moon, but instead we let Talkatoo give it to us, so that's pretty cool. It's always so weird coming around City Hall, like, from this direction. Okay. And then kind of escape the same way. What I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to talk to Pauline now. Oh, I'm going to hit her with my hat first, I guess. Pauline opens up 4 story moons, so again, we can just get them for free. But sitting in my Talkatoo inventory right now is Sewer Treasure, which we have to get by collecting all 4 musicians and then opening up the sewer to us. So might as well start on that adventure now while we can. All right, give me some more good ones. Bullet Building, not bad. High over the crowd. So that's 2 different sub areas, which kind of sucks, but at least they're like both quick ones. We're gonna go in here. Oh, that's not good. I don't know why I got that kind of vault. What are you doing, Marty? There we go. Easy. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk to this dude.
Yeah.
And we're just cruising. We're just collecting moons. We're having a good time. How you feeling, Nukes?
I'm loving the vibes. Good vibe.
Just cozy moon
You know
collecting
me though.
vibes.
I used to, my daily fix was all moon runs. So
That's right. I should get back in on that. It's been a while since I've done an all moons run.
I used to be so jealous because it is the perfect stream length.
Right?
Nice.
Yeah.
Like that's all you gotta do is do your one all moon run, and that's all you gotta do.
That's right. It's I guess at my skill level, it's like an 8-hour run, so that's like that's a typical work day.
Yeah.
Dizzying Heights, okay. City Guarding Rooftop Planter. Okay, here we go. I don't know which one's which. I'm going to take a gamble, and I'm going to say that Rooftop is the one over here. If it is not, then I'm going to cry a lot, probably. So we got to ferry this seed all the way over here. And then we're going to go over here. And we're going to cheat in the game again. Now it's 7 a.m. An hour is totally passed by, completely normally and naturally. Nice. And now we'll go get this one and hope it's the right plant. All right, show me rooftop. Yeah, we got it right. Nice, okay. I didn't hack it up. We got the right rooftop. Okay, just 2 more. I think I'm just going to collect musicians. I don't have to go into the sewer after all. I'm just going to get the musicians on board.
The game's trying to apologize for making you go into the deep woods.
Yeah, and give 500 of my precious coins. O-tip.
O-tip.
Okay, great. That was a pretty good Metro Kingdom, I'd say. Now Pauline's going to tell us, like, oh, you got the band together. Let's go into the sewer. We have one more problem for you. And we're going to say, see ya.
Bye.
Deal with that problem on your own, lady.
Damn, do you know how hard it is to find talent for a last-minute concert?
Pauline apparently doesn't even know how to do it. The drummer was like right behind her the whole time.
Right.
But sure, I'll walk 5 feet to collect a power moon. I'm totally okay with that. All right. So into Snow. And Snow is probably my least favorite Talkatoo kingdom. It's also very small, kind of like Lost, but Talkatoo, it's kind of split into 2 parts, right? There's like the overworld part where there's a blizzard currently happening. And then there is a town part underneath. And the town part is where Talkatoo lives. If you were doing Talkatoo all moons and you needed to talk to Talkatoo for every 3 moons, you would need to enter the town every 3 moons for all of the moons that are outside as well as the ones that are inside, which is not fun. Luckily, there are no moons outside yet, really. But it also means that the moon pool is really small because this kingdom hasn't really opened itself up yet. So the first thing that I do is I collect some purple coins because it's very, 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 very likely that we'll need to go into the purple coin room at some point during our visit to Snow Kingdom because there's just not enough moons to really justify not doing that, if that makes sense. So let's see. And we'll almost always get the hint art as well, and there's nothing we can really do about that. Treasure on the ice wall, that's a good start, actually. Slip behind the ice is the hint art area, and then entrance. Or not the hint art area, sorry, the outfit room. Here's entrance. And we're going to be relying pretty heavily on the story moons here as well. They make things quite a bit easier. Okay, Cappy. Thank you. Cappy's like, I really like coins. Coins are just so fun and good. Shoutouts to Spike Vegeta for this strat. I know Spike is watching somewhere out there.
He better be. He better be.
Just so many cool ways to move in this game, you know what I mean? I feel like
I
if
didn't
the
realize
objective...
that was a Spike Vegeta strat.
Yeah, using I think they're called ice snakes, the dudes who pop out of the ground with the sharp teeth. Using the one that's like really close to that first pathway. There's the hint art, of course. Found with treasure chest. So we'll go here. There's a couple of like Spike was one of the prominent runners of this game when it very first came out, and I would say that there are still little remnants of his movement and his routing that still exist to this day. So, you know, huge shout out to Spike Vegeta for being as passionate about speedrunning as he is. All right, so behind Snowy Mountain is this one back here, and I'm going to try and do some, like, cheeky movement to get back to the entrance without dying. We'll see how it goes.
Seeing a few questions again in chat about what is Talk 2%. That is the category extension that we're featuring tonight. Basically, that bird that Dangerous was just talking to tells him what moons he can collect. That bird right there. And
That's right.
Those are the only moons that Dangerous is allowed to collect, and our goal is to beat the game.
Yes, using only those moons and story moons as well. But that's because story moons will never be given by Talkatoo, so they are free game for us. Atop a blustery arch that's in here. So I'm in a bit of a sticky situation right now because one of the moons that Talkatoo's given me is the hint art, which means that I need to go back to Lost Kingdom. Not going to happen. And the other one that he's given me is in the purple coin sub area. So I need to like go to the shop, change my outfit, and go in there. But there are 2 moons in there, and it seems kind of wasteful to like go in there once and then maybe have to go in there again. So I'm currently trapped right now. I'm kind of just like collecting 1 moon from Talkatoo at a time, and this is part of the reason why Snow Kingdom is not my favorite. But as soon as we get that other purple coin room, then we can go in there. It might not even happen. Maybe we'll get the Goomba room instead. Moon shards in the cold room. Never mind. There it is. Going into the cold room. I guess we're changing our outfit twice this run. I always feel so bad because like you almost always have to change into the snowsuit in Talkatoo. And then usually it's like right at the end of your Snow Kingdom journey as well. And then the kingdoms that follow are Seaside, which is like tropical resort paradise, and Luncheon Kingdom, which is covered in lava. So I kind of feel bad for Mario having to endure the heat in the snowsuit. But that's what Talkatoo wants, so you gotta do what the bird says. So we'll just finish this up really fast. Any All Moons enjoyers will probably recognize this room.
Oh, that's my first thought is, oh yeah, he's gonna go in there and farm jumps.
Yeah.
But that won't even be a thing we could possibly see tonight.
Smack my head against against the ice blocks for a couple minutes. Yeah. For anybody who is curious, anybody who doesn't understand the context, in All Moons, one of the moons that Toadette gives you, which is encapsulating of all the moons, as it turns out, one of the moons Toadette gives you is jump 10,000 times. And as it turns out, in like 8 hours of gameplay, you don't jump anywhere close to that many times. So you have to farm them somewhere. You have to spend some time just like racking up jumps. And most speedrunners will do it here. They'll like duck into the 2D part of the alcove there, and they'll just shake their controller like crazy for like 6 minutes getting all those jumps. Fun times.
So what have you been up to in terms of like speedrunning recently?
Oh boy, what a great question. I've been all over the map. So with Odyssey, I was doing world peace. And World Peace is pretty fun. I think it's still like my favorite Odyssey category, but it tends to be kind of punishing because it's very trick heavy. If you fail the tricks, it means you kind of fail the run. So I've kind of been considering taking a dip into a different category. That's usually a good idea for aspiring speedrunners out there. If you feel like you're stuck or if you feel like you're in a rut, no harm in like switching gears and using those skills in a different category to see how you do. I think that's a very healthy thing to do instead of like banging your head against a wall, in my case, literally. And besides that, I'm also kind of looking at starting some new Mario games. So I've been doing Super Mario 64, 16 star. Ooh, shopping. I've been doing Super Mario World, like we were talking about. Ocean Trench. Oh, those are terrible moons, Takatu. Please pick something better. So yeah, just kind of all over the Mario spectrum, all different generations of Mario you can kind of expect on my channel, and we're working at a whole bunch of different ones. It's been really satisfying to try other Mario games. Mario World has been like super rewarding.
So are you gonna work to linking them all together?
Ooh,
Cosmic style, or
yeah, that would be kind of fun. I've always considered doing something like that, but I got to get my practice. Or like do a 602. 602 is fun. Okay. See if I can remember how to do this sub area. Yeah, just like that.
That's last time I had you on the show. That was all sub areas.
Oh, that's right. That is right. Yeah, I love that category too. I think one of my favorite parts of this game is the sub areas because it like takes a dip off the regular kingdoms and it kind of gives you something new to explore. And you can almost always do those really fast. There's speedrun tech for just about every sub area, whether they're good enough for any percent speedrunning or not, or like darker side even the all moons sub areas that are too slow for any other category. Like there's just so much cool stuff in the sub areas. I think my favorite one, my favorite but also least favorite one is the one in Wooded Kingdom with the sheep, where you have to like guide them on a little path. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yep.
It's so fun to cheese that one because you can just cheese it so bad.
Oh gosh, I was like trying to think exactly. Yeah, that one's a little rough.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to think of where the moons that I need are. Oh, come on, little gushy boy. I'm glad I got over the railing. What do I need? I need the Ocean Trench, Moon Shards, and Ocean Quiz. That's Takatu's not being very nice. Being kind of a meanie bobini. But that's okay. We'll figure it out as we go along here.
Yeah, this feels like this would be maybe one of the worst areas for Takatu. Just how spread out everything is with the water.
I think that this kingdom is the perfect example of like, do you do the story to mitigate the RNG or do you just risk it for the biscuit? I think this is like the one kingdom that encapsulates that the best. Because if you do all of the story content in this kingdom, you get 7 moons and you need 10. So if you really want to kind of get Takatu out of the picture and not have to worry about Takatu at all, then you can do so pretty easily. You would only need to collect 3 from Takatu. Let's see if I remember all the quiz answers for this one. I think it's 43243, but I haven't done this quiz in a while. Oh yeah, it is. Moons that are not very common are the Sphinx moons, like the quizzes. But we've had to do it twice today, I think, actually.
That threw me off because you were listing numbers and then he asked a question and the answers
that had
was
numbers to say.
but you didn't select the same number that you said.
Yeah, just make your brain hurty a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to take this seed. I mean, I'm going to try and do some like flashy rocket flower tricks. If it works, then we can get back to town pretty easy. If it doesn't, I'm going to cry. So hopefully the second thing doesn't happen, because that would be pretty embarrassing. Nice. We got all 3 rocket flowers, which means we can just zoom right to the flower pots. So now we need 4 more moons. Taking notes, ocean surface dash. That's actually really close to where we're at, so I'm just going to go ahead and cheat really fast. It is now 8:20 a.m. I hope everybody's keeping track at home. Make sure you change your clocks for this speed run. Everybody knows that the canon time is actually my time right here.
Oh, gosh. I don't know if I want to randomly shoot forward an hour all the time. I don't have enough time in the day as it is.
That's honestly so true. That's so true. Okay. Hopefully that plant is growing. Yep, you can see it. Flowers need water to grow. So, interesting little tidbit of information. I'm cheating in the children's video game, but in Seaside you don't actually have to. You can get one of the Gushins, and you know how he like spouts water? If you stand right above... oh, that's actually a really good combination. If you stand right above the flower pots and you spray the water into them, it'll actually grow the plants faster that way too. So you don't have to cheat in Seaside if you don't want to. All right, these last 2, I'm kind of glad that I didn't go with the story, as much as I do love the boss in this area. Because I can actually show off something here. So this is what we call fish clip. I position the fish by the out-of-bounds barrier and then reset the fish's position. And by doing it in the way that I just did, I'm able to push the fish so far out of bounds that it kind of goes against the collision of the wall, and I can just push myself completely out of bounds. Yeah, that worked out pretty good, actually.
Well, it probably would have been faster. In chat, surely that outfit is slowing down the swimming. That we were talking about just how hot you'd be. Could you imagine swimming in a full snowsuit?
It would just soak up all of the wool in the snowsuit. Would just like, I don't know, you'd be like the Michelin Man, you know what I mean? Except wet. I don't know if I would like that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's our favorite kingdom coming up. I do love me some luncheon. In terms of Talkatoo, I feel like this kingdom can go either way. I can either like really like it because there's just such good synergy and Talkatoo's really nice, or it could be the complete opposite, and he could give me like 1 in every sub area at the same time, or he could give me all 3 of the golden turnips, so I have to like go to the outer reaches of the kingdom and bring turnips back to town. It really could go either way. The one thing that's kind of interesting about this kingdom, though, is that it's very like progressional. So like when you complete a story objective, it like changes the kingdom every time you do that. For example, like when we defeat Spewart here, what it does is it makes a bridge to go into town. It spawns some enemies in the kingdom that were not there before, including like the Pan Bros later on and some like lava bubbles and stuff like that. So this kingdom is very procedural. After this, the next story moon is the one where you have to like pull the lever that's hidden under the cheese and then like grab the story moon there, and then it like raises a bunch of platforms in the lava. So using that to our advantage is really important in Talkatoo, but it's important to not go too far. Because if you go one step beyond that, if you get the multi-meat or the multi-moon for the meat, then it changes the town portion of the game, and it actually completely eliminates the checkpoint that's in town, which means that our fast access to get to Talkatoo gets taken away. So you have to be very careful to leave that until last if you're going to do it at all. Because we want that checkpoint really badly. A strong simmer.
I didn't realize it just eliminated that.
It does, yeah, it's crazy. Ooh, okay, I kind of like that combination. I'm going to go ahead and just quickly get enough purple coins. We're going to change out of the snowsuit. We're going to give Mario the relief that he deserves.
Yeah, and again, I see that question in chat. So this is Talk2%, that bird that Danger's just talked to. We'll give Danger's 3 moon names at a time, and those are the ones he must collect. He also can grab the story moons, but that's it in terms of moons that we're grabbing. And the goal is to beat the game.
That's right. Yeah, get to the credits, but all of the moons are determined for me by a random number generator, essentially in the shape of a bird. So that's what we're doing here today. He told me to go shopping. And he told me to get Strong Simmer, which is the first one in the chef sub-area where you have to wear the chef outfit to gain access. So we get to change outfits. If you guys have any like cook emotes in the chat, my chat always goes kind of nuts with like, I have a burp chef emote, so people like to chef it up.
A question in chat, I'll let you take this, Dangers. Is there a possibility that he gets stuck and has to reset the whole run?
In this version of Talkatoo, where we're just trying to get to the credits, no. But kind of how we were talking about it in All Moons earlier, there are places, if you're doing like a post-game run, that is possible, yes. Like in Mushroom Kingdom with the Yoshi fruits. Golden Recipe 2, nice. Love that. Okay, so I guess we're going this way. Actually, go this way. So yeah, you'll never see it in like this version of Talkatoo that we're doing. It'll never be a problem if we're just getting to the credits, which is kind of nice. It is possible to get some moons that are like in Snow Kingdom. I think the worst thing that could have happened to us is we got the Hint Art moon and then we were stuck like we were for a little while with the sub area that I didn't want to do. But you'll never get hard soft locked, I guess, if we're just doing the regular Talkatoo.
Dangerous, I don't think I've ever seen that bird chef emote until this moment, and it's so cute.
Isn't it great? I love it so much.
The good one. Your emote artist does a great job with all your emotes.
Huge shout outs to Ropan. Ropan does a great job. Yeah, when they announced the bit emotes and how like kind of off the path of the sub emotes they were, I was like, we should just make them silly like costume ideas. So all of the bit emotes are just fun costumes. One of them is like the skeleton bird. There's a chef bird. There's a cowbird, cowboy bird. Just all sorts of fun stuff like that.
Love that.
What do I want to do here? I think I want to... We got surrounded by tall mountains, which is this one over here. And now we are up by the meat here. I'm just going to grab that checkpoint so that when we're all done this kingdom, all I have to do is just warp to that checkpoint and then we can go home. Actually, I'm grabbing... That's not the right turnip. This way. Careful not to grab that moon, because that one is a very easy moon to collect. Bring this one back with us. Ooh, that almost didn't clear the gap. That would have been very sad. There we go. Yeah, so if you were to get confused by moon names, like it would be pretty easy to like get the golden turnip recipes mixed up, for example, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That one would definitely, you know, there's definitely a bit of a learning curve to this category, but you'll also be kind of surprised by how recognizable some of them can be, just by, you know, virtue of the game being pretty transparent with like what the objectives are and what you need to do to collect the moons and what their names are. Like this one's overlooking a bunch of ingredients. There's not very many, you know, hidden moons that really do that aside from that one. I think I want to go this way. I just got to make sure that I'm going to collect the right one. Fork flick into the summit. Okay. So I will be kind of sad if we have to come back to that one later. Because then we'll have to do the sub area all over again, basically, if we get the other moon in there. But that's, that's the way the Talkatoo goes sometimes.
Now that you've put it out in the universe.
Yeah, it'll probably happen.
It'll probably happen.
Same thing with this one, too. Like, we have Magma Narrow Path, which is this one at the end. But if we get crossing to the magma, that means we need to come back in here. So, knock on wood. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But there are still worse moons to get, I suppose. Oh, I didn't mean to hit you, Talkatoo. I'm sorry. Okay. Timer challenge 1. Oh, what? Hello? There we go. Lurking in the pillar's shadow. Oh, that's actually kind of a nice combo. Sort of. And gave me all the moons that are like right kind of snuggled in this area over here, which is pretty generous. Talkatoo, you don't usually give me good combinations. I'll take them where I can get them, though.
What are some of, in general, the worst moons to see in a Talkatoo percent?
Oh boy. Well, Treasure Made from Coins is probably like arguably my least favorite one. Mm-hmm. So we already got to see that one. That one's great. Usually, like, it's not necessarily individual moons, unless they're, like, really long sub-areas. Like, we got Flower Road Run in Wooded Kingdom. That one's always kind of annoying, just because, like, it's an auto-scroller. Anything that has to do with an auto-scroller is usually not very fun. But the worst-case scenario doesn't really ever have anything to do with, like, an individual moon. It has everything to do with, like, the combination. Like, the worst combination you could get is, like, maybe one of the golden turnip recipes, like the furthest one away, and then like a sub area that's an auto scroller, and maybe also like, something else, like another sub area where you have to get to the end or something like that. And it's just like that's the worst case scenario. Okay, we did get Four Flick and Detour. We spoke it into existence. And what was the top of column in a row? Yeah. Nice. So we gotta go back in. Okay, are we good now? Yeah. Oh, we're good. Okay. Excellent.
Hey.
So now, since we just need 3 moons, now bonk into the meat. We can just grab the moon, or we can grab the multi-moon from doing this. We get warped right back to the Odyssey, and Luncheon Kingdom's good to go.
I feel like that could have gone a lot worse with all the sub areas in Luncheon.
For sure. At least the sub area that it made me do was like the fastest one in the game, so I could just do it twice with no big issue. The worst ones to get are kind of the auto-scrollery ones. Like, think of like, the one sub area in Metro Kingdom where you have to ride the motorcycle and the dinosaurs like riding behind you, chasing you. Like, that one probably takes about 45 seconds to get to the end too, and you have to do it twice if you get the Talkatoo moon separately. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
That sucks. But yeah, that wasn't too bad at all. I will take that. We could still sub 150 this. In fact, there's only one more kingdom that Talkatoo exists in, and it's Bowser's Kingdom. So the RNG has almost come to a close here, which is very good news. But first we got to do Ruined Kingdom. I'm putting a bounty out there, I think. Anybody in the audience, if you can find a way to skip Ruined Kingdom completely, I will... What am I going to reward for the bounty? I will smile very large. Is that a good enough reward? Probably not, but I will. I'll smile really big if you do, because you could save 3 minutes of speedrunners' time for not having to do this anymore. I mean, he's a pretty cool dragon, but not the most exciting fight. Though I was very, like, visually stricken by this the first time that we saw this. Like, you know, dangers of 5 years ago, playing this game for the first time, being like, whoa, this is a Mario game? Hold on a second. But yeah, we've kind of figured this fight out. We just get on top of his head as fast as we can, take a little damage. A little damage never hurt anybody. And then just pull all the swords really fast. So, Nukes, we have some time for some donations.
I almost fell for it again. Oh my god. For a moment there, I went to like turn to my other monitor to go in where I have my donations normally when I do online events, and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, of course. What a great time. You're right. You're right, Dangers. This is the perfect time. All right, there he goes. And now we go to Bowser's Kingdom. And I kind of like Bowser's Kingdom in Talkatoo because it's like, kind of goes against everything that Talkatoo's about, really. The game, like, when you enter Bowser's Kingdom, unlike the other kingdoms where there's like little hollowed out circles in the top left corner, when you get to Bowser's Kingdom, they don't have that. And I think it's because the game is trying to trick you into thinking, like, you're about to face off against Bowser for the last time. This is where the game's going to end. It's going to be the big showdown. Spoiler alert, it's not. But the game kind of tricks you by taking away those hollowed out circles. Speedrunners know that you need 8 to leave, and it gives you 6 story moons. And Talkatoo doesn't appear until after you've completed the kind of debate where you need to then go to the Moon Kingdom later. So this is kind of just a speedrunning test. When we get into Bowser's Kingdom, I'm just doing my absolute best to just speedrun through all the story content, and then we can talk to Talkatoo once we're all finished up. Just for 2 extra moons, which is not very many. And that'll be it. That'll be all of the RNG in this whole run. Taken care of. So hopefully I can impress with some of my speedrunning prowess. Hopefully I can show off some cool movement. I think this is like a really good platforming kingdom. Nice. Good start. Good. I didn't grab the checkpoint, which might bite me later, but we'll find out when we get there, I guess.
Sounds like a bold move.
It is a bold move. Very, very risky move, for sure, for Talkatoo, but we'll see how it pays off. Now, that was the first story moon, is defeating that ogre. Opens up the rest of the kingdom here. The second story moon in this kingdom is probably one of the most infamous like moments of tension in the speedrun. Like right towards the end, you got to do this like really tricky platforming section where you got to collect all these shards. This is mandatory to beat the game. But that also means that we've developed some pretty cool movement to make it happen. Nice. Got it. Just like that. Very clean shards movement. I love that ending bit. Shoutouts to Tyrone for discovering how to do kind of the hardest version of that you got to see just now. Basically, I positioned Mario in a way that the bird tried to attack me at the same time that the bomb rolled by. So the bird did all of the work of breaking the block that I needed with the shard in it without me having to capture the bird at all. And now I'm going to do a little bit of a cheeky little trick in this fight here. This is Harriet. Harriet throws 2 bombs in this fight instead of 1. With good positioning, I can throw both of the bombs at the same time, and one of them gets suspended in the air like this. Because the game kind of just gets confused. I think that's like the speedrunning phrase of the century. The game gets confused. That's like my favorite way of explaining things. And then you can just kind of shoot that bomb right back at her for the second phase, like right away. Question from the chat, are you using a Pro Controller? Yes, I would never use the Joy-Cons. I know that there are some people who speedrun using the Joy-Cons, and they do have the advantage of being able to down throw freely, but my hands are far too big for them. I don't know if I would be able to comfortably play Odyssey with just the Joy-Cons alone. What about you, though, Nukes? Have you played with Joy-Cons, Pro-Cons?
Pro-Cons.
Pro-Con all the way, baby.
Way more comfy.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, it feels like a controller, whereas the Joy-Cons are like these, like, I don't know. They kind of went with like the Wii Remote aesthetic where they're disconnected in individual pieces, but they're even smaller, and my hands are like, please, I'm going to cramp. This is not okay.
Also, I did see a question in chat. Dangers is going to do another run after this one, so make sure you stick around for that one.
It's true, I am.
It's going to be a little saucy. Saucy is the word I'm going to use, yeah.
That's a good word to use, it's true. All right. Pretty solid climb, I would say. Now we just gotta use this bird to do the rest of the work for us.
Seeing some love in the chat for the Joy-Cons. Chat, which let us know, are you Joy-Con or Pro-Con?
Yes, we need to hear your opinions. All right, I love this fight. Speedrunners do not do this fight anywhere close to how you're supposed to, which is always a phrase that I enjoy saying as a speedrunner, that we are just playing the game in completely not the right way at all. As you can see, there's a lot of very quick stuff going on here. I used the Robo Brutal's leg and the pegs on the leg to climb up the side. You can actually ground pound the bubbles, which is not something the game makes completely apparent because you're supposed to be in like a bird capture most of the time. You ground pound the first 2. There's this invulnerability phase where the legs are rainbow, so I have to wait. But as soon as that's done, I can do this ground pound and dive back on really fast in position to get the 4th bubble with a spin pound really fast like that too. And the fight's done, just like that. If you were to do this the casual way, you'd still be on probably the 1st bubble at this point. Maybe the 2nd. If I'm being generous. And maybe the 2nd. But we're already done. Just like that. You know, whenever Ray is on tech, they always ask me about my cat, because I usually have a separate webcam like somewhere on the display so that I can switch over, but I forgot to do it, and she's actually sitting in her chair. I feel very sad now that you guys don't get to see her. Oh, the poll is in. Pro-Con wins. I'm somehow not surprised.
Me neither.
Okay. So we're not quite done. the game has been like, haha, psych, there's one more kingdom to visit, and now they give us our hollowed out circles. As you can see, we need 2 more. So we're gonna go talk to the bird. Behind the big wall. Treasure in the turret. Above Poison Swamp. Well, that one's actually really nice to get. Oh, not like that though. You know what, we're gonna not do that right, I guess. Let's try that again. I just wanted to reset my position. Now we're gonna do it. There we go. And then treasure behind the turret wall. We just need to take a quick dip here. And there we go. Simple as that. That was actually a pretty quick Bowser's Kingdom. You can definitely get some better matched moons, I think, but overall, pretty good. Pretty good. That just leaves one more kingdom, and Moon Kingdom is a kingdom that doesn't require any moons to finish it because this is truly the finishing kind of sequence of the game. So all we're doing is going to confront Bowser, stick it to him. But it does come with its own tricks that almost every speedrun does, and I'll be very happy to show them off. So. The first one being the trick that I think if anybody has ever seen Super Mario Odyssey speedrunning at all, then they know this trick exists. It's probably something that if you've ever been curious about speedrunning, you've probably even tried the trick yourself, and that's the Moon Cave skip. Because originally this game, that cave up ahead is like a final gauntlet. I call it like the victory road of Super Mario Odyssey, where you're supposed to go in, you're supposed to test all of your platforming prowess. It's like lava and it's really scary, and you know, it's the hardest platforming part of the game. But very, very early, like literally day 1, speedrunners discovered that you don't actually need to do it. You can just use the Sphinx head and do a couple of very well-placed wall jumps and just jump your way up instead. Saves a lot of time. Saves like 3 minutes. And the cool thing about a trick that saves 3 minutes that has like basically no, there's no risk to it. Like it's very hard to like die trying it. Is that you can just keep trying over and over and over again. And even if it takes you like 2 minutes to get the trick, you still save time over not. Which makes it, in my opinion, one of the perfect speedrun tricks.
That is one of the 2 tricks I use in my casual playthroughs of this game.
Yeah, let's go. What was the other one?
It's huge.
Do you know what the other trick was? Or were you just kind of saying
skip.
2? Oh, Dino Skip. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Both of those are really easy. You can do them at home with very minimal knowledge of the game, I think. There's also, I guess I can use this boss fight time to kind of plug the Super Mario Odyssey community, as I always like to do during these segments. Super Mario Odyssey community is one of the biggest speedrun communities that has ever existed for any game, which means that there are plenty of resources. So if you think that this is the kind of game that you would be interested in, getting your feet wet with speedrunning, I certainly recommend it. It's kind of like Super Mario 64, but in my opinion, it controls a lot smoother, so it's a lot more forgiving for a new player. It's genuinely, if you don't know what game you would like to speedrun, I would say Odyssey is probably a really good first bet for that reason alone. So the community's done a lot of really good work to make this game as accessible as possible. So yeah, be sure to check it out. Speedrun.com/SMO. The guides and resources that exist on that page are good enough, but there's also a Discord server where you can ask questions and basically any hour of the day, you'll have someone who can help answer them. So.
Also, make sure to give Dangers a follow if you've been enjoying this stream. He streams a lot of Mario Odyssey, but also other Mario games. Has been learning 16 star for SM64. And
that's right.
some Super Mario World as well, if you like the 2D Mario. So always a good comfy time over there.
Yeah, I'm a super nerd about Mario games. I love learning about them, and I love sharing what I learned. So if that's something that interests you at all, then yeah, feel free to stop on by. Don't forget about your host, though, as well. Nuclear also hosts her own channel on Twitch, so make sure you go give her some love as well. She does a great job here, so she must do a great job everywhere, you know what I mean?
That's how that works, right?
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to give this trick a couple of tries. This is called 2DSS, which is 2D section skip. It is arguably one of the hardest tricks that you can do in the speedrun, because not all of the platforms work the way that you want them to. Okay, a couple more tries. It's not being very nice to me right now. Okay, one more try, and if not, we'll just go through the 2D section. Yeah, let's get through.
Has that been pulled off in any, is that world record in any of the runs out there? Yeah.
Yeah, Tyrone can do that trick consistently now.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he very consistently gets that trick in all of the runs that he does. He's a wizard. He is genuinely the best Odyssey player that has ever lived and probably ever will. So if we're on the topic of following really talented Mario Odyssey streamers, you really can't talk about this game without talking about Tyrone 18. He's the world record holder in all of the categories under 3 hours, and he's dedicated probably more time in this game than anybody else by a factor of double almost. This guy loves this game so much, so make sure you go check him out too. Mad credit goes to Tyrone for discovering the things in this game, pushing this game to its limits. Yeah, you really can't talk about Odyssey without talking about Tyrone. He's just too good. All right, and now all we got to do is escape. We just got to break down these pillars. Nice. And just this last block in the middle. And time is going to stop when we shoot out of this wire, which will be in about 5 seconds. And time.
GG.
Very nice. Let's go.
How was that overall, you feel, in terms of RNG and stuff? Did the bird cooperate?
I think Bowser's Kingdom was really good. But also there's not very much RNG there. Luncheon felt really good as well, but the earlier kingdoms, Wooded and Sand, felt like all of the moons were in complete, just opposite areas. So a lot of the time that I lost was at the beginning of the run, I would say. But overall, pretty good. I got a 145 something, I think. My best time in this category is a 138, so losing only about 7 minutes to RNG is honestly pretty good. So
yeah.
I'd say it went pretty well.
I think so too. All right, chat. We are going to take a quick little break here. Just make sure, though, stick around. We are going to have Dangers back for some saucier Mario Odyssey, as I called it earlier.
That's true.
So take this time to get up, maybe use the bathroom, get a snack, refill your drink, and we'll see you back real soon. Welcome back, everybody, to No Category Left Behind, the GDQ Hotfix show that showcases category extension speedruns. I'm your host, Nuclear, and tonight with me, I've got Danger showcasing some Super Mario Odyssey category extensions. We just saw Talk2%, but now we're going to dive into Nipple Percent. Before we get started and explain what the heck that is, just a couple announcements here. If you want to follow what Games Done Quick is up to, use command links in Twitch chat for all things GDQ. Also, just a reminder that your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits cheered on the GDQ Twitch channel help support Games Done Quick, both with hotfix and AGDQ 2023 costs. So please consider subscribing if you enjoy the daily GDQ content. Without further ado, Dangers, what the heck is Nipple Percent?
let's just get right into it, shall we?
Yeah,
Let's do the countdown.
Let's go.
3, 2, 1, go. This is a super, super short category. It's the oldest category extension that this game has, and arguably the most popular, and the best meme. So
It's also the inspiration for the show. Did you know that?
is it really?
It is.
So when you created this show, you were like, this category has to be on the show because
Yes.
Okay, great.
And here we are.
I am personally very honored to be the one to provide this to everybody then. This category has a bit of history. It's actually as old as the game's creation itself, basically. As soon as there was promotional material that showed Mario in his boxer shorts, the speedrunners were like, oh, this needs to be a category extension. Like, there's no question. Like, we need to make this happen. So nipple percent is kind of just what it sounds like. We are speedrunning to get Mario in his boxer shorts as fast as possible. And the way that we do that is we collect 1,000 coins, and we use those coins to purchase the boxer shorts in the shop. Time stops when we do that. So that is literally all that there is to it. There used to be a way to collect coins where you would like do a sub area that you would like grind coins in for, say, like 2 minutes or something like that. But with the introduction of patch 1.2, Nintendo started posting these hint arts online. And they were kind of like the hint arts that are in the game, where you like look at the hint art and it gives you a clue about where something's hidden. But these hint arts would be the hidden location of like a hint art, or like an 8-bit Luigi or an 8-bit Captain Toad that you could then ground pound the spot of, and they would give you 200 coins. So since the patch 1.2, getting coins has been relatively easy in the early part of the game, and it has brought the times down to, I think the world record now is 725 by Hey There Cool. So very fast nipples, as it turns out. But yeah, so the beginning is pretty much the same as what you saw earlier. We're just collecting a lot of coins along the way. We purposefully went to the right side instead of the left side, specifically because there were coins to grab while we go up the ramp. Okay. Someone in chat asking what my PB is. So the world record is 725. My PB is 729. At the top of the leaderboard, the two people that are above me on the leaderboard are Tyrone18, big surprise, and Hey There Cool. And I would say that like if there were anybody in the world to give Tyrone a run for his money for like best Super Mario Odyssey player of all time, Hey There Cool is probably a close second. He's the one who has the world record for this category, but also for all of the longer categories in the game. Think like all moons and 100%, and it's not even close. Like Hey There dominates those leaderboards by a factor of like tens of minutes. Very, very talented, optimized player of this game. Okay, so this jump that I'm about to do is a little bit of a tricky one. It needs to be initiated from a side flip like this. And I gotta get a wall jump off the right side of the wall. Like that, and then you can get up here. Kind of like we were talking about earlier, there's like, if your goal in this game is to get from like point A to point B, and point A is anywhere and point B is anywhere else, there is usually like a dozen different ways to do it. And I think that's probably what makes this game just as enticing to speedrun as it is, because there's just so many options. There's so many different ways that you can do it. And that just increases the skill ceiling like to infinity. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Now we'll get to see some differentiation here. The last run.
Yeah, just a little bit. I'm actually going to do a trick called a moon clip, which I don't think we got to do in the Talk 2 run.
We did not.
Cool, sweet. So moon clips if a moon gets spawned in close enough to a wall or a ceiling or something like that, we can do a series of movements that makes Mario's position kind of whack. If he ever does a backflip and then a cap throw, you'll notice that Mario kind of like flips and spins through the air. So we're going to take advantage of that right here. Oh, I was too late. Never mind. So the goal here, I'm not going to click through, am I? Yeah. The goal here was to do that series of movements that I just said, close to the ceiling, close enough that when I did the cap throw, it would kind of shove Mario out of bounds during the moon grab animation. And the moon grab animation always resets Mario to be standing upright. So that combination of things would have pushed him through the ceiling, and then I could have just like jumped to the Odyssey without having to come back out of the alcove and then around, I guess. And it only saves a couple of seconds, but it's a pretty flashy trick. So. All right, so how many coins do we have? 316, I think. But that's okay, because most of the coins that we need to get to 1,000 are going to be here in the Sand Kingdom.
I have an interesting question in chat. Would you usually reset a run when doing speed runs? Do you have certain points and times you benchmark personally?
Yeah, that's always such an interesting question because like it depends so heavily on a lot of different factors. And you can probably agree with this too, Nukes, if you've ever done like proper, not randomizer stuff where you can kind of just get to the end regardless. But like in the case of like a regular speed run, you're talking about like your mentality plays a factor, how much time you've lost plays a factor, like all that kind of stuff can really change like what determines what is reset worthy and what isn't, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I feel like there are so many different factors for that. Like depending on if I'm having a good day or not. Like, did I have enough caffeine? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, am I feeling mentally well enough to continue this speed run, or am I just getting frustrated that I can't get a really easy trick at the beginning of the game? Like, there's so many different factors. But ultimately, I think the best answer is like, if I know that I am not capable of getting a personal best, and the goal of my attempts is to get a personal best, then I'll hit the reset button and I'll try again. And that's where like speedrunning tools come into play. Like if you ever see splits, which is just like basically an advanced timer that just shows you, how long you've been taking to complete the segment you're on, how long the run has gone itself, like what your best times in every segment were, all that kind of stuff. Like that's where that all comes into play. Also, you'll probably notice we have 1,000 coins, so we're just zipping right to the shop. And we just got to talk, and time is going to end when we buy, so time now. Oh, done. There they are. We're good. Everything's good to go. We might as well bask in the fruits of our labor, so to speak. So there they are. And that's it. That's it. That's nipple percent.
GG. That's it. That is the chat. This is what inspired No Category Left Behind. So thanks to this, and honestly Dangers, because Dangers is who I typically watch run Mario Odyssey. This show has come into existence, and happy 1 year anniversary to No Category Left Behind. I couldn't think of a better way to end the 1 year anniversary stream.
Honestly, I'm right there with you. Yeah, perfect choice. I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm very honored.
Well, thank you so much, Dangers. Dangers, I'll let you get one more chance here to shout out. I know you did at the end of the last run, but shout out anything you'd like to let people know where to find you, what to expect if they were to come by your stream. Sure.
Twitch.tv/Dangers. Like Nukes has said throughout the show, I focus a lot of my content on speedrunning Mario games and teaching other people about how they work and stuff like that. It's just really fascinating to me. So if there are other people that are interested in it, I love to meet them. So come on by, come chill with us. Usually stream from like 7 p.m. Eastern until whenever I get tired. every day except for Monday and Friday. But also got to, of course, throw out a huge shout out to Nukes and Richard for hosting the GDQ Hotfix show that you're watching today. They do really good work. Make sure that you follow them in their respective places, whether that be just here at GDQ or at twitch.tv/nuclear. And of course, I got to throw another shout out to the Super Mario Odyssey community again, because without all of their discoveries, I probably wouldn't be able to be here showing you what this game can do. So huge shout outs to the Super Mario Odyssey community. And if you have any interest in speedrunning this game at all, it is one of the most approachable speedrunning communities of all time. Give it a shot. Go peek your head in there, see what you can learn, and give this game a go. So.
Heck yeah. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I just want a reminder, be sure to press that like button as you do and subscribe to the channel. Also, check out our live content at twitch.tv/gamesdonequick. If you're interested, it starts weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. Dangers, thank you so much. You are always a joy to have on the channel. You're awesome. Chat, you're also awesome, and you're cute. Make sure to stick around. After this, we've got speedruns from the crypt, spooky speedruns, coming up after a break. We'll be back later.